to buy, you know, or have a monthly subscription for.
Yeah, that one's good because if it's connected to my calendar or whatever,
It's through Google.
No, it's an app on your phone. You just pay for it at one time.
Oh.
Like
Okay. I love it. Honestly, AI got to be exchange for nothing. I'm like, because usually I'll be the person that's like frantically like trying to write notes when I'm in a meeting, and yeah.
You know, when you realize that sometimes, like now, it's like the meeting frame. You get slow.
Okay. And is this long? Okay, they're gonna hear me all right. So I'm gonna just talk to you guys because it's easier. I think for me too, and you guys can see that, and then there we go. All right, so thank you so much just for the opportunity this Sundays for you guys having me to be able to join, be a part of your co-working and Skillshare. This is something I'm truly passionate about. Of course, I'm a licensed realtor, and something that I have learned in 15 years is that houses don't happen without money. And there happened to be a big void in general when it came towards the home buying process, just in regards to how does the math work. And that's really where my financial wellness and education and all of those things started coming into play. Because we wanted to make sure that people knew what to expect just from their own lifestyle and being able to bring order to it, yet also when getting ready to purchase for a home. So today our opportunity is, number one, it's a conversation. I always like to say it's not about a lecture. This is not college. There's no test at the end. I've got a good friend of mine, someone who also works with financing and lending, and so of course I might hot potato you. Some questions come up that are beyond my scope, and I'm a big believer in collaboration, not just on nights like today, yet just also in our business. So we partner with people that are aligned in our values and our skill sets and our principles and our intentions, so that way you feel good, right? It's all about the experience. I believe that home buying, home selling is an experience. You can, you should feel comfortable during that process. So, like I said, a little bit about me. I've been in real estate for 15 years. We've helped over 200 families. Been doing real estate since 2010. I like to tell people I am not a third generation realtor. My great granddaddy, was not a realtor. I'm just somebody that got frustrated working at House of Blues and in retail. And I graduated from University of Houston in 2006. So I was working a lot of odds and end jobs like most of us are. I had 3 up at one time. And I remember one day I was at home. That's when $1 Million Listing became popular, that show. And a friend of mine was like, you sell condos, you can sell houses. I was like, you know what, you're right. And I got my real estate license, and I think that fate led me here because I was working a shift, bartending, and I don't know, something annoyed me, and I wrote my 2 weeks. I was like, I'm out of here, I'm done. I quit, I'm over it, tap me out. Well, I got home the next day, I was like, I can't believe I got a job. So I tried to go back up there, take back my 2 weeks, but at that point, the manager and I had friction. He was like, no, we're just gonna honor it. So that really was how I got into real estate. My safety net was cut. I had already earned my license at that point. The next day, I started going to brokerages, and that's really how my journey began. Since then, like I said, we've been able to help over 200 families. I'm a founding president of Callaway Youth Young Professionals here in Houston. I'm on the board of Habitat for Humanity, advancing back homeownership. I'm a master instructor. I teach courses at Texas Southern University with young adults, just about mindset, wealth building, goal planning, and I also coach young adults aged 18 to 29. So I'm a real person. So I always like to start this conversation in that sense that, one, I'm a firm believer that money is math. Real estate's math, that's why I like it. It's really not emotional. My clients get emotional. They like poodle hair carpets. They like all this other different type of stuff that I can't search for, feelings and vibes. That when it comes down to the deal, it's really just math. And that's what I love about it, because if you know the math or you know how to solve the problem, every deal can get done, right? And so I know before we get to the math, we always have a story about our relationship with money. And I always say it's usually two different ones, right? There's the things that hold us back and then the things that move us forward. And I just came up with a couple of things, whether it's anxiety, avoidance, shame. There's a lot of reasons why people may or may not start that conversation. But in your own experience, when you guys think of money, what comes up? Like, what does it stir in you? Whether personally at home or in a group setting like this, what comes up? Stress. Why do you think stress? What about money? Just that word sparks a stress.
I always feel like it's not enough.
The need for it,
More.
Need for it, right? A lot of times we're not operating in abundance. Not like what was the Donald Duck, the guy Scrooge McDuck? It's not like there's a tank in the back of our house and we're just dipping and diving in gold coins, right? I was like you. I tell people, I like a lot of bills because it makes me stressful, right? And a lot of the anxiety comes around real estate, money, right? And especially as an entrepreneur, when we work for ourselves, it's a whole nother level. I was stressed when I was getting checks every other week. It can be such a, when you work by yourself, when you are the curator, you are the event, you are the marketer, you are the appointment setter, the appointment getter, you are the lead generator, the lead follow-up, you are the closer, you are all of those things, and it's just you. It can create a lot of stress. And unfortunately, people on the other side of those invoices, on those appointments, they're not necessarily worried about what you got going on. So it started, that's when I started saying like, something ain't right. I'm not going to be able to sustain, because I don't know if y'all know this, real estate is 100% commission. So it ain't no backups, there's no checks. If you don't close, you don't eat. And so I was like, this is a problem. And I feel blessed in just the conversations that I've had because I've been able to get clarity for that, which is why like I said, I'm so passionate about it. So we talked about stress. What else? When you think about money, think about like when you're young, what stories were you told? What stories were you told about money?
You got McDonald's money?
That's very black family culture.
Yeah. Money don't grow on trees.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
The value of a dollar. That was one. Like, you gotta know the value of a dollar.
All right.
It's like, what is that?
Plain and simply, I ain't got it. We ain't got it. You know what I'm saying? So if we want to have it, we want to do it. I remember Christmas one year. My grandfather, he put 2 stacks of cash underneath the Christmas tree. One was like 51s and the other was like, a bunch of 5s or something like that. And it was addressed to my sister and I. And parents were like, you can grab whichever one you want. Now, I like my pockets to be fat, so I grabbed the ones, right? We're very young at this point. Don't necessarily know how much money was there. I just know this looked like a lot. And so we get it, we got it. The next thing we know, next weekend, my dad took us to the mall. So we got our money, we got pockets burning, shopping, spending, and all that stuff. We get to the cash register, and he's like, y'all have money you can pay for? So, we didn't really think much of it, but then it came, I remember there was something, I think I wanted a kid caboodle, and I was down to my last. And what that, I think, indirect taught me was that when you get money, you gotta spend it, right? You got something, there's some kind of need, right? There's always something for you to take care of. And that habit kind of negatively influenced the way that I was treating money when it came in. As soon as I got it, I was spending it. Carried me into my adult years, carried me into now, right? And I have to usually slow myself down and create a framework for that. So the goal is for us to get curious about it, ask questions, right? So I'm very interactive. Let the artists ask questions, I'm gonna feedback. Like I said, we got Selma in here because you don't know what you don't know. And that's what I learned once I became a business owner. I didn't know anything. I ain't ready to buy my house. The first time they told me no. My credit score looked like an Austin area code. I hadn't filed taxes. I hadn't even looked at taxes. It was just a whole lot of hope going into it, right? So I started having to ask questions like, well, how does this work? And what about this? Because I was following a lot of people, social media, just people that you know, but they weren't looking to do what I was looking to do. So there was only so far that they could carry me. So I believe in curiosity. I believe curiosity gives you clarity. Clarity is power, therefore clarity gives you confidence. And once you have confidence in your money, you're able to see the possibilities. So a lot of times that fear, that stress, those limiting beliefs that we were told, we shut ourselves out from possibility. I tell my people all the time, I said, let the lender tell you no. Because at least they're gonna give you a framework. A lot of times we don't even have the conversation because we've already ruled ourselves out. I don't have enough money. Down payment assistance grants. Interest rates are too high. We got builders buying down rate. You don't know what you don't know, right? So the goal, like I said, is get you guys to the space of possibility and move from there. So Dave Ramsey once said, I'm also a financial peace coordinator. He said, budgeting is telling your money where to go instead of wondering where it went. And I thought that was so fascinating because I remember in college sitting with my roommate and she was helping me set a budget. She was like, well, how much do you spend on food? I was like, I don't know, I haven't spent it yet. How are you asking me questions about the future? Well, how much do you spend on gas? I don't know, I haven't gone anywhere yet. So I just had this big disconnect on how to even set a budget because I just felt like, you asking me questions, how am I supposed to pick these numbers up, right? And so I realized that the first thing is gaining a sense of clarity and like, well, how much money do I make? And where do I want this to go? See, I was very reactive, especially even as a business owner. I was paying bills before I paid myself. I wasn't putting money in savings because my Sprint bill was due, my car note was due, or my insurance was due. The way that I treated money was that I'm gonna take care of everything that I need, I'm gonna have fun because I deserve it, and then whatever's left, that's what I'm gonna save. Challenge with that is nothing was ever left. All right, so I had to rewire my brain in the way that I look at money. I had to first prioritize myself. I said, no, when I get money, the first thing that I'm gonna do is save first. Off the top, right? We hear that with tithes, but it kind of stops there. It doesn't go to our personal savings. So like I said, back in the mall with the king caboodles, I get money, spend money. Now I'm broke again. And so the first thing that I had to do was change the way that I treated money once it came in. So one of the habits, and this was after I spoke with the loan officer, and I mean, child, you would wonder how I was in real estate with no money, no credit, no taxes, no nothing, trying to ask for hundreds of thousands of dollars. Right? But I changed that up, and then every time I got money, it didn't matter if it was a gift from my grandmother, something from a check, an invoice, commission, or something like that, I started taking out 10%. I put it in a savings account. I went to the bank, I labeled it my first home because I had given myself a year to buy a home. I said my first home, and anything I got, I just put it in. It wasn't connected to any cards, wasn't connected to any debit cards. It just was, this is what we're gonna do. So your money's gonna come down to 3 categories: your needs, your growth, and your lifestyle. Dave Ramsey says that especially when things are tight, because how many of us are self-employed, entrepreneurs, business owners? Okay, so everybody has had a season where it's like, nah, I'm gonna sit down, right? Had seasons where it's like, actually, maybe I need to get up because I need to make things, but you're stuck in this, I've been stuck in, let me not speak for y'all, I've been stuck there. Right, when the money is just non-existent, bills are still coming in, the mortgage is still due, all of these things. So the first thing you want to make sure is that you focus on your needs, right? My mom used to say, if your car gets repoed, you can't get to work, so you always pay for your car, right? If you can't get to work, you can't pay your utilities. So you always keep wherever your income is coming in, you want to keep making sure that's happening. You got it, right? So now we're talking about prioritizing, like, okay, when things are tight, and I get it, a lot of times people will say, well, Starbucks isn't what's keeping me broke. No, it's not. Yet for this chapter, it could be holding you back. Another lesson I had to learn, savings and investing and debt payoff, right? And this was a lesson that kind of came to me like just recently. I was talking to my mom. I said, man, I have bad cash flow management. Because even though I thought I was doing good by paying off debt, I was back at the mall. I had no money left. So I had grew up and I was like, man, no debt, no bills, no debt, no bills. So I get $1,000 and be like, I put $1,000 on the credit card because I'm on the wheel. But then I had to use the credit card for the rest of the month, and now I'm back up $1,000, right? Instead of using that money, building my savings, and then strategically paying down the debt, whether that's putting a little bit more than the minimum on there, but that way I wasn't getting myself broke. That's what I saw in my own habits. And then your emergency fund. So I was saving 10% so that I could buy my house, and I was saving another 10% just for cushion, right? So when you start getting these frameworks for money, it's just automatic. You just change your wiring. As soon as it comes in, I was dividing up the money before I even did anything else. I was taking care of myself. I was putting on my own mask. And I was starting to look at my numbers. Those numbers give that clarity, which give you that power. So I kind of said a lot. I always like to take a pause, questions, thoughts. Does any of this resonate? Can you relate?
Very much.
Very much.
Can relate, yeah.
So when you think about these categories, where would you say that your money disappears the fastest? You think it's going towards your needs, housing, groceries, utilities, transportation, your growth, your investing, debt pay down, maybe educational training, or is it your lifestyle? Sunday fun day.
It's between needs and lifestyle, because groceries and transport is like up there, and then my school, but then I get so stressed out, I immediately be like, I want to drink.
Absolutely. And listen, that is honest. And here's the thing, right? If you're not checking your money, if you're not looking at it, you'd be surprised. I used to have this app called Mint. Tracks your money. At the end of the year, it gives you like a little spreadsheet where all your money went. That thing said in 1 year I had spent $3,000 at McDonald's. At McDonald's, a MacBook computer ain't for $2,000, and I only eat fries and sweet tea when I go to McDonald's. That little $5 a day, or $5 however frequently that I was going, it was $3,000 at the end of the year. That's how quickly money can slip through your fingers when you're not tracking it. So if I spend $3,000 at McDonald's, how much do you think you spent this year doing Sunday Monday?
We owe you, Mark.
I said, we should do a poll for people looking to come to Houston. How much money do you think they need for a weekend in Houston? Let's just say they fly in on Thursday. Friday, Saturday, they never leave Houston on Sunday. They don't leave until Monday. How much money would you say that they need to have?
I don't know, like
1,000?
15, 2,000,
2,000?
About 25.
200?
They gonna go
It's like, nah, you can't do no
I was like, that's just lunch and dinner.
Yeah, they gonna go all the restaurants.
So I'm coming to Houston, having a good time. Let's get work on week, about to come up, about to do all the things. I want to be on saying. I've heard about money. I want to be outside.
Yeah.
How much money do I need? Thursday to Monday. I'm flying out Monday morning, so I got an early flight. I'm leaving at 7. They just told me
Down
not
to
to
the
leave.
minimum 1,500.
Yeah, I was
More like 25.
too.
If you pay $100 a meal, that's fine. Well, including drinks.
Yeah, I'd say yeah, because they're
I was
gonna
like, are we talking smart?
As
Are we lying?
a restaurant, the bus is $13.
I'm at the
And it
So,
depends
okay, so
on
how many of y'all say I can do it on $1,000?
if I'm alone.
I could definitely do it on.
How many of y'all say I can do it? How many of y'all say I can do it on $2,000?
Yeah.
Okay.
$2,000. How many of you guys say 3,000 or more?
But that's,
That's
you a few fancy.
No,
You
yeah.
doing a lot.
You got your girls, you got your boys,
That's
you got
a
everybody.
lobster and grits.
And you know what's so funny about that? Y'all legit straight told me I could not do a week in Houston for $200. In fact, you set my healthy expectation. If I want to have a good time.
If you want to do all the things.
Listen, I'm just telling you, you trying to come out here in Houston, you're gonna need some cash.
Like you said, if you want to
I'll
do
say about
lobster and
2,000.
grits. Need money.
How many times have you heard somebody say you don't need no money to buy a home? It's on social media all the time. You don't need money to buy a home. Here's how you buy a home with no money. This is that, da da da.
I detest those posts.
How many times as a lender have you had people come to you with no money ready to buy a home?
Every day.
Every day. So we got the cognizance to say, you can't come to Houston without 2 stacks on you. But then when it comes to home ownership, we think we being scammed or somebody's not telling us the truth when we say you're gonna need some money to buy a home. I think that's fascinating. I think it's predatory. I think it's predatory because they only pitch that to a certain group. And I'm not saying that there aren't options out there, but it's such a setback to go into the Houston housing real estate market. As diverse as this city is, with healthcare, transportation, and clubs, and all of the way, it's money. It is money in Texas. It is money in Houston. It's oil and gas. It's one of our top industries. To think that you're going to be able to compete with people that all their life have been told to have at least 20%. Do you need it? No. You don't need it at all. There's a conversation for that. You don't need it, but you also need to know that you don't need something. You need some kind, because even if you get into the house, how many of you guys own? How many of you guys know shit happens? And it's not to scare you because life happens anyway. But to go into a situation with no reserves and then trying to purchase something, I don't know, 50, 100 years old, because you think maybe I'll save money that way. And so now you've got these home ownership, anything, right? It's about looking at our money differently. And that confidence, you show up differently when you're not asking the seller for money. So if I was like, listen, I'm trying to go to Houston. If people say I need $2,000, can you spot me $2,500 so I can go to Houston? What would you say?
Probably
Not this time. But why? I thought you was for the people. I thought you wanted to see y'all sweat.
I do.
You do. But why wouldn't you?
You gotta show some type of reason for me to give it to you.
That's kind of what it's like when you go to a seller and ask them to pay money out of their equity to help you buy a home. They might. You could be 100% just, should be like Scrooge McDuck. 2,000, 2,500, it may not be anything for her. But you will still filter through your own mind. What do you mean you don't have no money saved to go to Houston? Maybe it's not time for you to go to Houston then. It sounds like your priorities aren't already. But then, just like you said, people show up every day trying to get a loan with no money. People come to me every day talking about, well, can't the sellers just give us $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 to help me buy their home? So we put ourselves at a disadvantage. During the pandemic, money was the cheapest, 2 and 3%. But when money is cheap, people's prices, their money goes further. So people are like, oh my gosh, people are bidding over the house. Well, they could because their payment was the same. Because most people think about a payment, it's not price. So $350,000 house at 2% was I don't know, $2,000. $350,000 house at 6% is $2,700. It's interest. So that's why we say you have to know where you stand. This is like a skeleton budget. Talks about everything is. So I say you want to ask yourself 3 questions. How much do I make after taxes? What is my take-home pay every month? The next thing you're going to ask, those essentials, those needs, the things you can't trade off of. Your housing, your transportation, your groceries, utilities, and phone, and then your debt servicing. So these are your student loans, these are your credit cards. I always say, even if you don't know, write down just a ballpark where you think it is. Now, if you want to get froggy, you can go home, you can print your last 3 bank statements, and then just highlight the averages of each. But you want to get clarity because sometimes, just like I was spending $3,000 at McDonald's, you don't know how much money you're spending on streaming. You haven't watched Hulu all year, but they watch your bank account. Apple Pay religiously hits you upside the head. So it's like they know when you make a deposit. I don't even know what Apple is charging you for, but they run a good $50 every month out my account. And you start saying, why don't I have any money at the end of the month? So you want to get clarity on this. You want to, here's where we are. This is what I must do. This is what I'd like to do. Dining, shopping, subscriptions, streaming, all of these other things. You'd be surprised what this number is. Now here's the thing, once you get clarity on that, in fact, if you have the paper, just jot it down. It is what we do. Do this quick math. Write down average, what you take home probably once a month. And then I want you to create category 2 and just add this up. We're just doing basic math, okay? It doesn't have to be down to the dollar. On your essentials. How much is your rent and your mortgage, card, gas, and insurance, groceries, utilities, phone, credit cards, and loans, student loans, personal loans. And this is the fun one. Y'all said 2,000 for a weekend. I don't know how much this category is looking. But for kicks and giggles, I'll put it up there. Now, either based off of your quick math or just your spirit, which number surprised you most?
I did this a while ago, my subscriptions were out of control.
The subscriptions?
Yeah.
Them subscriptions, listen,
They're cute.
leaky holes sink ships.
Did you forget that you signed up for something?
And $9.99, they did not. You do $9.99 with 9 companies that offered you the first month free, and you never cancel. In 1 year, that's $120. In 2 years, that's $250. It may not sound like a lot, but times it by 10. I had a friend, she recently shared, she was eating a feed on behalf of her clients. I think it was like $500 a month. She never looked at it because, it was like, She was meeting with her CPA, and she realized she had given away $25,000. And she was like, and I've been selling real estate for 9 years. So if you times it by 9, that's $225,000. $500 a time. As business owners, people are asking us to concede all the time, offer some kind of concession. I said the best way to negotiate with somebody is someone that don't know their numbers. If you don't know your numbers, you don't know what you can give away. But when you know your numbers, you're not going to negotiate because that money has an assignment. So what if I told you that your goal is to aim on living on 70% of your income. So if we were right here at this monthly expenses, there's a formula, and this is what Zelma's looking at when you get ready to apply for your loan. It's called debt to income. It's the same thing. Let me take these captions off so you guys can see it. Your monthly debt plus your gross divided by your gross income is your debt to income. Your monthly debt, so that's category 2 and category 3, add that together, divided by your gross income, which is category 1, equals your debt to income. Here's the cheat sheet. Tell me, correct me if I'm wrong. Ideally, we would love for you to be on the 36%, right? Do the math. Most people are not there, unless they're either making extremely high money, or they just don't have any debt, they owe their car outright, stuff like that, right? Acceptable, most lenders will work with you if you have a 36 to 43% debt to income ratio. Some may even be able to go up to 50%. So that means that if you make $6,000 a month, that means when we factor in your housing, your rent, or your proposed housing payment, should I say, your car notes, your credit cards, child support, we factor all of that stuff in, it needs to fit within 50%. Anything over 50%, what happens? If their DTI is over 50%, what happens? And they
The lender starts asking for more concessions, or they need to put higher down payment, they possibly have to pay some stuff off, they might have to go, FHA allows usually like up to 56%. But if they're trying to go conventional, 50 and below is better. And then don't forget the new mortgage. I don't know if I see that.
All right. You said what?
Don't forget the new mortgage.
Right.
Because is that in, because people will come and
That's
say,
including the proposed mortgage.
Yeah.
So a lot of times people think they're approved over a sales price. No, 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 you're approved over a payment. I know you like this $400,000 house, but the math to your payment is that your mortgage payment can't go above $1,800, $2,300, $3,200, whatever that number is. So it's math. And if you end up being over that 50%, well, now you got to put more down. It's money.
I like the way you put that.
There's always money, right? So this is what I'm saying. A lot of times, it's not that we can't, it's just that we just don't know. No one has told us. And so now we're being required to put more down or pay down debt, whatever it is. And the reason is because we want to make sure that you can keep the house. Oh, do no good for me to sell you a house if I got to sell it in 3 months because you can't hold on to it. That's very important to me. So this is the framework. I'm going to speed through these next ones so I want to respect everybody's time. So this is what I say is an asset framework. I grew up in a time when my mom taught me mnemonics, so it worked for me. The asset frameworks, what lenders are looking for and what you can build over time. Number 1, your assets, your savings, right? So that goes back to that habit of putting 10% down no matter what, and 10% to your savings account. This is for you. As an entrepreneur, you want to have this. You want to make sure that it's funny. You want to get through it. So your savings, your reserves, because, oh, by the way, when you close the home, they're also going to make sure that you haven't spent your last getting the home. So they're going to want to see, do you have 2 to 3 months of escrows? Just so that way you're good after we close. Because it's a bad reflection on them, it's a bad reflection on us if we get you in the house and you start getting late payments 30 days after you close. Now our license are in jeopardy. And you're like, what kind of scam are y'all running? Right? So your assets, I would say, I think it's good, better, or best. I always say, set a goal to save $10,000. Maybe you'll need it, maybe you'll need more, maybe you won't need none of it. But you gotta come to Houston with $2,000. Okay? You might find somebody that says, don't worry, baby, I got you. I got you. I got you. The drinks, the section, you coming with me, I sent you food. You may find it. go. Start creating the habits. And your emergency fund. Your credit. So the lender is looking at your payment history, your utilization rate, and your score trend over time. Even if you own a home and you're looking to turn that first home into a rental and therefore take the equity out, to fund the second home so that way you take your first, they still don't see how you can pay your mortgage on time. If you have a late payment within a year, what's this mean? What's happening? If you have a late payment within a year, it's probably the battery. You're not going to be able to get a home equity loan or credit. You're not going to be able to get a cash out refinance.
Is the security?
It's not that. That's credit. Income. You got to have a job. Even if you're self-employed, if you're not closing or for whatever reason not getting the income that you need, Uber, whatever you can so you can have that income coming in. So assets, your savings, credit score. Most lenders can approve you up to 580. Wow, set yourself up. Do you need more? What's the difference between a 580 and 640 applicant?
Big difference. You either need the money to stabilize or justify your lower income, or you have your lower credit score, or you have the higher credit score, and you could basically kind of go on the standard level.
Right.
Yeah.
So when we say you want to shoot for a 640 credit score, it's not because we don't know that people can approve you down to a 580. If I'm trying to set you up to win though, why would I put you in a position where now you need more money in order for it to work? That's your income and then your debt. So again, good, better, best, you want to have below 50%. Ideal, 43%. You pretty much get any kind of loan that you need. Let's see. Okay, so any questions? Any questions for what we shared so far while this loads back up? Anything that you didn't realize or hadn't considered, whether as an entrepreneur, just running, or pursuing your next home?
I have a quick question. Okay, I was gonna say, I have a quick question. Just like, I feel like something that I've heard, and I don't know if you'll get to this, but just from friends who are also entrepreneurs, that they feel like they've had a harder time, even if they do have like a solid credit score, but they feel like they've had a harder time. I don't know the details as to why, but like in terms of getting approved to get a loan, that's been like a harder battle. Could you just talk more about, from an entrepreneur standpoint, like why it may be harder to get approved?
Mm-hmm. Right, because you can have a credit score. I remember I had a good friend. It's two kind of perspectives, two questions that often come up. Number one, why don't I qualify for the down payment assistance programs? Right? And she, good friend, so she's talking straight to me. It wasn't none of this other stuff. I said, well, dear, it's because you make money. A lot of the down payment assistance programs, they are, it might, I don't know, it's kind of stretched, so we can leave it on the, yeah. So it's not that you don't qualify for the down payment assistance programs, yet some of these programs require that you don't make too much money. Mm-hmm. So it's almost kind of like a blessing that you didn't qualify, even though I understand that it sucks. It's like having to pay taxes as a business owner. You only pay taxes if you made money. So while nobody likes giving money to the IRS, if you have to, it must have meant that you had a good year. Mm-hmm. And this is another conversation for another day. But the reason why Jeff Bezos don't pay down taxes is because he owns real estate and he owns a business. That's how you get tax deductions. So even as a business owner, strategically buying real estate or hiring people is to your benefit once you're able to scale. Because housing is a deduction. it reduces your tax liability. So when we start growing in a conversation and we start thinking strategically,
Might have to just move
The
the car.
desk can
Yeah,
slide
yeah,
a little
yeah.
bit.
Might have to just move the car a little bit. Yeah.
now, oh. Right? And so that's how we start building wealth. Someone and I were talking about it the other day. A lot of people think, oh, I'm gonna go ahead and buy an investment property. Well, one, that's a trigger to me and to her. Because once you say investment property, that means you bring in 20% down, right? No. I know you said you wanted to put 3.5% down, but that's for people that live in the home. You're not talking about living in the home. So you're gonna put 20% down. Language matters. So what a lot of people do is they just keep buying homes that they live in. They buy the first home, they buy the home that they can afford, they live in there for 2 or 3 years, they say, okay, boom, we'll turn this into a rental. They go to Zoom, they say, we wanna go buy another home, use equity from the first home to get into the second home, now they put 5% down, and they turn that one into a rental. They live there for 2 or 3 years, and they do it again, do it again. But a lot of the conversations that I've been seeing lately, and I don't know who it's targeting, you know, they're quick to talk about, oh, you want a house hack, oh, you want a duplex. Duplexes are $500,000 in Houston. That's real. And you might say, well, Chase, find me a house to Airbnb. There's no such thing as an Airbnb house. There's an Airbnb strategy. But you still want to make sure that if Airbnb goes away, that your house cash flows with what that house would lease for. So if the leasing in Sunnyside average is $1,800 and your mortgage is $4,950, you got listen, it's math is money is reality, and vice versa. So it's not so much that I'm anti-Airbnb, I'm just saying, do it strategically. Do it in a way where you can sustain it, so that way, I talked to somebody the other day, he's trying to get out of Airbnb, he said, Chase, I'm losing $3,000 a month. Even if you put a tenant in it, they're not, one house don't pay for two. So it's all math. So that's basically, we'll load up soon, this screen here. So when you say people don't understand why you have credit and still not be approved, it's because, number one, your debt to income ratio is too high. You can make $100,000 a year. If your debt is $99,000, servicing it, there's nothing anybody can do. The credit score, you don't have the reserves to put the money down, so you're relying on the seller to help you. Did that answer your question?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think that's just really what it is. When we don't know, we take offense. Oh man, it's the government. It's the man. They have to get us. No one's coming to help us. Everybody's out to help you. It's a win-win. But there's a rule, there's a game, there's a formula. Once you master that, you get whatever you want. Those possibilities open. It's just about knowing the rules. So, anyway.
I think you had a question too, though, right?
Not a question, I was just gonna say that that framework kind of, it helped out, mentioning, just how to think about money. When you're a business owner, entrepreneur, just a regular person, what to do with your money first, and creating that framework, being how
Yeah.
you get to what you want.
Sit with your own math. Once this loads up, I'm gonna have a worksheet y'all can download that way you can sit with your own math. Yet when you do, it gets clarity. And then once you change, the biggest thing that changed my story as a business owner was paying myself first. It sounds small. I'm a big believer in quantum steps, which are slight yet significant steps. A lot of people are like, oh, well, when I close this big deal for $10,000, I'm off to the races. No, just change the way that you treat your money. When you get it in, save it first. So that way you already know that it's done. So that way if you spend whatever's in that checking account, amen, but you've already saved for yourself.
And can I add something about the entrepreneur question? Also, when you are planning and you know that, what I see a lot with entrepreneurs is the whole tax situation, because they probably have a harder time because for one, they are making more money, but they're not loans are made for more of a traditional box. And as we know, as entrepreneurs, we are not traditional. So when you are filing your taxes, we are trying to claim everything under the sun so we can minimize our tax liability. But then when you go to buy a house and they're looking at that, it doesn't show a profit. So being strategic with your money, your math, like Chase is saying, from the very beginning, it can't just be, oh, I'm gonna do this on the whim, unless so plan ahead of time, have those numbers together. There are loan products that are geared towards entrepreneurs, but most of the time people are trying to, pay that 3.5% down or pay that 5% down. So it's either like pick your poison. You either gonna pay the taxes or you're gonna put more down when you buy the house. And just depends on what poison you wanna take.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Who you listening to matters.
Yeah.
Miss Ward said, if 2 years before you're trying to do something, pay your taxes.
Yeah.
Whatever it is that you need to do. Pay your student loans, whatever you need to do. Now, I'm not gonna tell you what to do after you get into the house, right? But that is how some people work strategically. My mom says all of these things are connected. All of these systems are connected. You can't tell Uncle Sam that you don't have no money, then go tell Sam, but for real, I actually make $200,000 a year. Oh, don't worry, I'll just amend my taxes. No, you won't, because that's called a liar loan. And they're gonna automatically prevent you from being able to apply for a home for a year. Because you can't change your taxes to qualify for a loan. Right, so you wanna just, do whatever you need to do. But if you're self-employed, they're looking at your 2 years, 1099s.
Yeah, we could do it if you've been in business 5 years or more, you could use 1 year. So that's a good little loophole that you could do. You could use bank statements, you could use like a P&L, but those products require a larger down payment. So if you wanna go like more of the traditional route, 2 years or 1 year of tax return showing a profit that meets that DTI threshold that we're looking for.
Yeah. So keeping your proper books, having profit loss statements, all of those are gonna help you know your numbers, yet to also tell your story. You're presenting a story to your lender, right? Is you wanna be able to show, like, hey, we make money, and this is what it's gonna look like. If you are a W-2, I always say, get the house while you're on W-2. It's a lot easier to qualify. Just pay, turn on your W-2s, bank statements.
Easy peasy.
You're a business owner, now you gotta prove them things, but you've a W-2, they can go off of that. So if you're working, don't do it. Now here's what I do wanna encourage you guys with. I wanna leave you guys on this note. A lot of times I'll see on social media, would you recommend buying a home as a single black woman? I saw some crazy statistics. They said most black women have been working since they were 20. How many of you guys were 20 when you started your first job?
Young.
15?
15.
Average.
15? Let's just assume that the average age of this room is 35 years old. That's 20 working years. 20 working years. Now, don't tell me, don't tell us, but write down how much money you have saved in your account right now. It's sensitive. I know all of them feelings that we got. So I'm not going to ask you to say it out loud. But if you've been working for 20 years, how much money do you have saved into your account right now? Home values in Houston pretty much double every 20 years. So by doing nothing more than what you currently are doing now, which is paying for housing, you would have equity over $100,000, $200,000. This is why I get real personal when people say homeownership is a scam. Because if you can't look in your bank account right now and in 20 years show me that you saved $100,000, then the lesson is that you can't save your way to wealth. Nobody can. That ain't a black problem, that ain't a white problem. You cannot save your way to wealth. At some point, you're going to have to invest in something that's going to do the heavy lifting for you. And you can just look at your own personal story. I ain't never saved the amount of money of equity I have in my home right now. Even when I was saving for a house. So I just want to end on this. One, you're not behind. I don't care what they were selling houses for, 20,000 or 2,000, 1990. You're not behind. Most people just need clarity and tools. Someone like Zelma and myself, and partner with you, and actually care about helping you understand so you can get clarity and move forward. So, like I said, I did include the asset framework self-assessment checklist. You can scan the QR code. Let's see. I don't know if it really is. You can scan the QR code. What that allows you to do is allow you to download the framework, and then if you're open, if you would like for us to talk one-to-one, you can definitely schedule a time on my calendar just for us to answer your questions. It's free. No judgment. I won't try to sell you. If you get clarity from the conversation, then I'd be happy to do your service. And with that, I think y'all for attending. You can
Yeah, like I need to come up.
you know, we kind of.
We'll also be sure to send this deck out as well, so you all have access to it. Amazing. Well, give Chase a round of applause. And yeah, I feel like this is just really important information, especially as we're at the top of the year, just figuring out what are our goals, what are our strategies, what are our plans, especially with money. Because it's real easy for money to be asked in many different places. So yes, thank you so much. And just for y'all to know as well, we do this every single month. So every month we have a new person from our community who shares on a topic. We've had this past month, we had another community member talk about tools and like how to best utilize tools to streamline your business. And then the month before, Bliss and I, we talked about how to set up your year for success and basically to make it sustainable, not stressful or feel like you're in survival mode. And so, yeah, just stay tuned next month. What's the date for the next cohort?
The next
24th.
The 24th, yes, is I think the day person. We always have our these co-works the day before, usually like a social event. Usually that Friday, if we have a social event on that Saturday, that's typically the cadence. So,
Yeah. So April 24th is the next one. So we hope to see y'all at the next one. Was it helpful? Did y'all learn something?
Very nice.
Yes. What's the takeaway? Somebody tell me the takeaway. I'm also background in education, so I'm like, talk to me. What y'all get from this? What's the takeaway?
I just need to save some money.
Save some money. Make some money to
Continue
save
to
some money.
change my relationship with money.
Yes. Yes, love that one. Yeah. What about you?
Start 2 years out for equity. Yeah.
In terms of the rental income piece. Yes, love that. And then what about you? I know you're a lender, so you're well versed, but still, if there was a new takeaway.
My takeaway is Chase is the bomb.
Yay!
I think that our messages totally aligned. I loved the message in her presentation, and I think it's very wise to prepare other entrepreneurs on how to build wealth through real estate, and it's not no money down type of things that you see online. So get with somebody that knows what they're talking about, because yeah, she's good.
Yes, I do appreciate that. Love is 15 years. That's not by accident. You've been working, okay? Love it. Awesome. Well, thank y'all so much. We'll still be here. So, yeah, y'all are free to stick around, co-work. We'll be around out in the main area. So, thank you. Thank you guys. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
So,
Love it.
I have to run. My daughter has field day.
Ooh.
Be my girl.
That's fun.
Not me.
I always went to the like queer adult field days and then
Oh, really?
It's like it's nostalgic. So that sounds fun. But as a kid, I didn't.
Do we have that in this thing? No.
You said a queer adult field day?
Well, adult field day, just in general.
Oh yeah, we do. We actually are hosting one next month. So we hosted, so in April we hosted one, April last year we hosted one, so we're bringing it back this April too. So stay tuned. April 8th, I think. Is that what the is? Okay. She's like, don't let me come in. Right. I'm like, I feel like she knows them, but yeah, no.
I think it's the 4th, but let me check.
I think that's right. It does feel like April 4th. But yeah, stay tuned. What's our next one?
Yeah. Well, thank y'all for having me.
Of course.
I'll see
Thank
y'all.
you for chiming in too. We
No
appreciate
problem.
you.
Are you gonna go work tomorrow?
Yeah, I need to finish. I was like,
It looks like 8 to me. Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad. Thanks for saying that. It definitely helps because people be last minute. They're not getting these links,
I'm saying goodbye. I'm awkward, y'all. Y'all haven't noticed yet in the last few years. I'm gonna say goodbye.
Oh, no, you're good. Thanks for coming out. Appreciate you. Yes, Chase is amazing. So helpful.
Y'all have a good day.
All right, you too. Great job. So good. Thank you. Giving us the real information that we need to know. I feel like my